Welcome to the Wilmington Chamber podcast today. We're going to have a lot of fun getting to know our new board chairman, Neal Andrew with Andrew Consulting Engineers. So, Neal, how long have you lived in Wilmington?
I'm a Wilmington native, so other than a few years in Raleigh and Atlanta, I've been here the whole time.
And Raleigh, what were you doing in Raleigh?
Well, I got my engineering degree from NC State.
Go Pack.
Go Pack. So I was in Raleigh for 4 years, and then I moved to Atlanta and got my master's in engineering at Georgia Tech.
Yellow Jackets.
Lived there through the '96 Olympics. Was one of the reasons why I went to Georgia Tech. But there were others. Obviously, it's a great school there. So, and lived in Atlanta for approximately 5 years. But when you grow up on the water here in Wilmington, North Carolina, it's hard to stay away. But for so long, so I started looking for an opportunity to come back.
So I heard you say that one of the reasons you went to Georgia Tech was because of the Olympics. Did y'all hear him say that? Tell us more about that. You literally planned it around the Olympics being in Atlanta?
Well, I mean, it was coming to town. Atlanta was preparing. Obviously, Atlanta is, in some circles considered the capital of the South and the largest city in the South, and a lot of opportunity there. So, again, along with it was either Blacksburg, Virginia for Virginia Tech or Atlanta for Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And, Blacksburg's a wonderful town.
It's beautiful.
I've visited there a few times, but when you're in your early 20s, Atlanta, won out with me for choices there.
That makes a lot of sense.
What did you get to work on while you were in Atlanta?
I actually worked on the Olympic Stadium construction.
Cool.
I worked for a forensic engineering company at the time. I was going to Georgia Tech 3/4 time and working half time, and there was unfortunately a fatal collapse during construction of the Olympic Stadium, and so my engineering company was hired to do an investigation of the cause of the collapse and then to make sure that there would be no additional issues like that during construction. So I spent pretty much almost all day, every day, climbing up and down from top to bottom of the Olympic Stadium while it was under construction. So that was a pretty unique experience.
I'm sure it was. And so did you decide then that you did or did not want to continue doing forensic work?
Well, that's where about 50% of our work today with my engineering company is with doing existing building investigations. So I learned quite a bit at that company, and particularly during that Olympic Stadium project that we were working on. So it's very interesting work, and again, it was something that I learned quite a bit from on what to do and what not to do when you are the structural engineer for a project.
Right.
So during that time, this is a hard question. Who do you pull for in football games?
Well, I'm a Wolfpack fan. My dad's a Wolfpack fan. Our whole family grew up pulling for the Wolfpack.
He's a smart man.
So there's no house divided T-shirts at your.
Well, now that's a different story about the house divided. But within my personal house, no, I'm a Wolfpack fan. Of course, if Georgia Tech's playing someone other than state, I'll pull for the Yellow Jackets. But I'm certainly more of a Wolfpack fan than a Georgia Tech fan.
I like it. Yeah. Keep it in state.
So, now, however, my wife is a Carolina graduate, so there is a house divided there. So
that's the more common house divided
right,
in North Carolina.
right.
You can find that T-shirt
Yeah.
in North
You can.
Carolina.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Neal, I believe I recall that your engineering firm has celebrated an anniversary recently.
Well, just on the 16th of February, we had our 18th year.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, so thank you. It's hard to believe in some ways, but in other ways it feels like a lifetime ago. But we've been very fortunate. We survived the recession in our early years, and obviously Wilmington's a wonderful place to be involved in the engineering community. So
I'm sorry.
So you've been involved with the chamber pretty much since your business got started.
Well, I was involved with the chamber before
Yeah.
my business got started. With the prior business, my dad also owned an engineering company here in Wilmington, and when I first came back to town, I actually worked for that company. Mm-hmm. He is the past board chair of the chamber, so very early on, coming back to town, got involved with the chamber in different ways. I think at the time there was a infrastructure committee, if I remember correctly, that I would participate in those meetings, and of course would attend some of the other events, annual meetings and other type of events like that. So really my involvement with the chamber goes back longer than 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've been on the board now. You're in your 7th year on the board. Is that right?
That's right. Into the 7th year on the board, and it's been a lot of very positive changes have occurred with the chamber during that time. So been happy to be involved with that.
So, Neal, what's your most favorite thing that you've been involved in as a chamber volunteer? We didn't tell you we were going to ask you that one.
That's a tough question. I think that there's been so many different issues that the chamber has advocated for that have been able to get approved or to move forward with. The list is so long; it'd be tough for me to single out any one of them particularly. I think just the overall business climate that Wilmington has is probably a kind of an overarching issue that the Chamber of Commerce has been working so hard for over the last however many years that I've been involved with. So not every community has the same business-minded climate and business-minded leadership, elected officials that Wilmington, New Hanover County has.
Absolutely. And you've been a big part of making all that happen. So then how about work-related, a favorite project that your firm, or the one you most enjoyed,
Right,
or even
right.
A most challenging, all of the above?
Well, now that's a whole bunch of different questions.
I know it is.
Asking an engineer his favorite project is kind of like asking, who's your favorite child, or who's your favorite sibling. I can narrow it down to two very unique projects that we've been involved with. One of those would be the Wilson Center. That was a very challenging project that took many years from start to finish. But obviously the outcome has been spectacular and is certainly plays a major role in downtown Wilmington today. And then the other one would be our work with the battleship, primarily the cofferdam project that we designed to be built around the perimeter of the ship, so that the hull repairs and other work can be done to the ship while it sits there in its berth. That's a once-in-a-lifetime project, and really, as far as we know, probably the only one in the world that's been done like that. So those two would stand out to me.
So I have a complete understanding of the cofferdam and the kind of the excitement and the uniqueness of that project, and you worked on that in just recent years. So I remember that. What was so challenging about the Wilson Center?
Well, the Wilson Center is a very large venue with massive clear spans, and acoustics were paramount. So everything we everything we designed had to be unique to that building to take into account proper acoustics. For example, the roof over that building is a concrete slab roof to limit noise coming in from the outside of the building. Those masonry walls that you see that are, I forgot how tall they are, 60, 70 foot tall masonry walls are all, filled solid with concrete. Just the way the seating has to be designed to have all the proper sight lines and to have the proper acoustics in every seat in the house is a challenge to design structurally. And then you have to do all that, and there is a budget that has to be met.
I thought you just built a building and put some chairs in.
When you're dealing with public money,
Right.
You have to stay within a budget. So we had some challenges with that early on, and so there had to be a redesign effort along the way to help the community college stay within their budget. So it's a challenging site. Anything downtown Wilmington for that big of a scale is challenging. We have difficult soil conditions here in our area. So and you have a lot of historic buildings in close proximity to you. So there's a lot of challenges with making sure that what you do doesn't disturb your neighbor and also is built properly to meet all the high wind codes that Wilmington has to be designed for.
Sure. So now, Neal, inquiring minds want to know a little bit about Neal. Not Neal the engineer, but Neal the person. So
Okay.
tell us what you will about your personal life.
Well, I tell people all the time that I work hard, but also I play hard to make up for the hard work. I enjoy pretty much anything outdoors. Wilmington is a wonderful place for outdoor activities. So one of my ways to get away from work is to play golf. Wilmington certainly has a lot of beautiful golf courses, and I take advantage of those as often as I can. I enjoy going out in the boat. I enjoy being out in the ocean and swimming. My wife is a triathlete, so we do a lot of training, biking, running, swimming. One of my favorite things to do is open water swim. Obviously more in the warmer months than this time of year in February, but it's to me it's just very rewarding to be able to jump in Banks Channel at sunrise on a summer morning and go for a swim and be able to enjoy that time, just kind of quiet time out in the water like that. And so, anything outdoors is what I try to do when I get away from work.
And you and Beth had an awesome trip recently to celebrate something.
So my wife has now completed 14 Ironman races, and the last one she did was in Cozumel, and she qualified for the World Championships of Ironman racing, which is in Kona, Hawaii.
Wow.
Which is
Isn't that cool? She is tough.
Yeah, so
Play
that's a big deal. Something she's been working on for probably close to 10 years now. So
That's cool.
most likely, we think she has been officially accepted, but they haven't told her what race it will be.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little backed up in their races because of the travel restrictions around COVID, and Hawaii was very strict about travel for a while there. So we think it'll be October of 23. They typically hold the race in October, so we think it'll be October 23. Not sure yet, but so that was a major thing for her, and very proud. Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
And so your first annual meeting as chair of the chamber board was last week. Any reflections on that experience?
Well, I thought it was a great event. I thought it was the way everything was set up was very unique, and I thought very exciting. You always think you're going to be nervous when you go up in front of a crowd of people to talk, but when you get up there, the lights are so bright in your face you can't see anything. So you might as well just act like you're there by yourself. So that's kind of how I approached it, and I think I did a pretty good job. I don't know of any places where I messed up during my speech, but I may have somewhere along the way. I thought that we had some great other presenters too. That it was nice to see kind of the bookend for the chancellor at UNCW at our event, and it was nice to see Bob Warwick get recognized for all he's done for our community.
It really was. It was a great kickoff for your year as chamber chair, and I can't wait to have you back on the podcast where we'll talk about all of your accomplishments. If there's one thing that you want us to do this year, we've got about a minute left.
Okay.
What would that be?
Well, once again, it's hard to find one thing where we've got a lot of good stuff. So I'll say there's two.
Okay.
Advocacy on transportation infrastructure, and then small business development retention, I think would be the two things that resonate with me the most.
Fantastic. And we're going to have a conversation with Josh on our next podcast. So thank you all for joining us as we interviewed and got to know Neal Andrew with Andrew Consulting Engineers, the 2022 board chair for the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. This is our podcast, and we hope you'll join us every time we're on the air. We have a lot of fun around the chamber, and we'd love to have you join us. If you're not yet a member, feel free to call us at 910-762-2611. You can ask for anybody, and we'll make sure you get all the information that you need so that you can play the games along with us. Thanks, and have a great day.